When you look at a lot of pre-war apartment buildings in this country and also in Europe, you see a lot, like you go through Paris, you have all these 8-story apartment buildings everywhere, the whole city. And you just look at from the outside, you can see these incredible attic apartments up top, and then 2 floors down, you'll have an apartment with a big balcony on a setback, and then there's one that's down lower that maybe has a double height space in it, or like the apartments that are along 57th Street next to Carnegie Hall with these big sort of loft spaces. I think people are looking for something with spatial interest and integrity. I think there's a certain fatigue with the kind of thin veneers that you see everywhere. And the problem is, how do you provide something that has integrity and something that has a sense of, for lack of a better term, history. And I don't mean it to be historical, because you can't do that, but the sense that you are designing a modern building that 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, people are going to look back and say, that is such a great place to live. Like the way people talk about buildings in New York, like the Ansonia, like, oh, like my sister, she lives in the Ansonia. It's like, you say the Ansonia, that's a fantastic building, and there's a reason, because the apartments, the internal stairway is amazing, the hallways are beautiful. And we can still do that, I think I think people should demand more for multifamily housing. I think it should just be, that culturally we should expect more of it. So that's where that's where I see it going. I mean, I think economics really drives so much of it that it may be just merely aspirational, but I'm hoping that it goes there. And I'm hoping that we can really make housing that will become the landmarks 100 years from now. Like, are we building any buildings now that are worthy of being landmarked? That's a great question to ask. And when you look around, you probably say, not really, So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build buildings that they'll stand 50, 100 years from now, and people will say that's a great place to live. So.